Hi, welcome back to the channel and this 2024-25 Garage Tour wrap-up. First, a little bit of self-indulgent chat about how I think the tour went. Then mostly we're going to see all the cars that you didn't see in the Garage Tour, and I'll tell you why you didn't see them. Firstly, I have to say I'm very pleased with how the tour went. I took the musical and cinematic nature of the previous Garage Tours and I merged them with the way that I did the deep dives on the 2023 tour, where I would pause at each car, give the colour, I would give the photograph, and a little chat about the car. So effectively, the chat was removed, and we went with a number of sequenced episodes. I learnt a couple of things on the way through. Number one, some of the colours I chose for the titles in the first few episodes were a little bit random. I tried to be classier later. I mostly learnt about music. I think the fact that I like some quite rocky music, metal and so on and so forth, reflected in the first few tours until eventually I was told, please can you stop the horrible music? We want to enjoy the cars. I switched to sort of piano, jazz, a little bit of blues, a bit of lo-fi chill. I got lots of comments praising the music, so I think that was a definite positive move forward. I do think it was a mistake starting it so late in the year because it inevitably overran into 2025, making it the 24/25 Garage Tour. I even ended up just putting 25 in the video titles to shorten the titles, and that does cause needless confusion when, like all the other tours, this was supposed to simply be a snapshot really of 2024, hence it not having any of the newer vehicles in it. It is a regret, but I don't have a time machine, so I couldn't really fix it. So a few learning points and a couple of negatives, but overall I was extremely pleased with the series, with the variety of cars on display, the number of relatively unique cars, and their presentation, and the bulk of the builds. I mean, nothing is ever perfect, but overall, very pleased. And if I didn't want to show you something, I just simply didn't show it. But I think it's only fair to at least wrap everything up with a quick run through what I didn't show you, why I didn't show it to you, and just give you a chance to see it in case it's of interest. So here goes. The special vehicle garage, I think it's called, probably not. We start, of course, with the Imponte Runa 2000, very expensive car. Certainly when I bought it on sale, it's a bit cheaper now. Maxed out, done as Knight Rider. But this car, along with all the rest of them, are simply as they've appeared in previous garages when I had much bigger film and TV collections. This Mongo truck thing, Wastelander, I think, in the game, yeah, Fast and Furious, it's never changed. This, of course, has never changed. This is a lot of fun, the ramp buggy, but I do tend to always forget that I actually own it, another Fast and Furious thing. This, of course, very useful for certain missions, bit of a laugh. We call it a Mythbusters truck. And then something that you've never seen I own, I don't think, anywhere. I tried to keep it out of the shots when we were doing this garage. I don't know why I've got a Lotus Elise with a massive rocket up its jack seat. I know it came on sale. I think I bought it. I drove it once. I shoved it down here. Yeah. I mean, like, why? Why have I got it? No idea. So that's a special vehicle warehouse. Now, this garage in the arena, you've most definitely seen before. It's the remnants of my TV and movie collection from when I had a much bigger collection. My favourite part here being the 3 cars of Brian, and of course when I filmed it, I ghosted something on to effectively the wall to sort of say in memoriam for Paul Walker. These builds are partly mine, but they were all then rehashed slightly by watching Digital Car Addicts series with Craig Lieberman, isn't it? He was with, who was involved with the film. So all of these cars got small corrections to be as close as humanly possibly to the film ones. So I would say they are the definitive builds, if not my own. And I don't want to change these. And for those of you who don't remember, if you do click forward, but I just kept a few cars that I thought could only really live in here. I mean, you can only really put Jason Statham's car there, can't you? The battered Dukes of Hazzard to represent the 300 cars that got wrecked, the old General Lee. Nowhere else for a Batmobile. Oh, I love Mr. Bean's Mini, but it can only realistically go here, I think. Of course, the Scramjet, which is from a manga thing, can only go here. And the Tron bike, I mean, where else do you put any of these things? So these 9 cars are pretty much my only TV film collection. And it's something I sort of stopped doing, so I don't really expect to need to expand this or to add to this collection. Ah, the facility. Well, this hasn't changed since last year. I haven't really had the inspiration to do so. I did buy a Chernobog thinking, well, that'll flesh it out and I'll be able to do it up exactly like the real equivalent. Well, I never did, so that was a waste of money. My Avenger looks the same. Everything here is, I think, the same. I did this one up as the armoured one. There's a video on that. And then I think that was a private Humvee. And, of course, a... what are they called? The Darts Combat. But nothing's changed. I've left the jetpack exactly as it was, as per the real one it's based on. I mean, what else are you going to do with that? And then again, none of these have changed. This... is it a Gauge Commando? This specific police version of the Pterodyne, is it LAPV? Can't remember. This specific futuristic tank that is based on a real one. An M3 half-track, of course, and this was a private version of an LAPV or a Pterodyne vehicle. For more information, of course, watch the appropriate garage tour. But yeah, nothing has changed apart from a Chernobog that I never did any work on, and possibly the addition of that the first car we saw down there. So that's why you didn't see this one. So for the Bikes Clubhouse, why did you not see this? I think last year you saw 20 bikes, and I think there was a little bit of a, buying bikes for the sake of it, ones that I could do up like real bikes in order to almost pad out the second garage. Well, I'm not that much into them, so what have we got this time? I've kept, obviously, the live wire done as it was. Everybody wants their Batty 801RR. I can't remember the real names of all these bikes, to be honest, without. But these are my favourite ones. Obviously, the drag bike is now HSW'd, and I do love just the non-drag version. So, yeah, these are, I think, the best of the bikes that I had before that look really like the bikes that they came from. And I don't see this bike collection particularly changing. I just think it's a very nice bike collection. And I think the only other bikes are, of course, the Oppressor Mark 1 that's in a prototype garage, and the Mark II that you could put in a prototype garage, because that's where it comes from if you look it up, but I have it in the back of my Terabyte. So, nice little collection, but obviously nothing new really to put in the tour. I wish this 100-car garage wasn't so violently coloured. So these cars have moved since 2024. It is, of course, the Ken Block Memorial Garage. Now, I did a couple of years ago, I think it was, a video for this that I'm still incredibly proud of. It starts with a big cinematic, which was hard to do because we didn't have drift tuning at the time, and I was interleaving bits of my drift footage in with Ken Block footage, and I think it went really well. Showed all the cars in motion, so not going to go through them all here, but I'm really very, very pleased with every single one of these builds, and that is a tour that if you haven't seen, I do, to be honest, really advise watching. Okay, in the nightclub, this is where for a long time I've chosen to store my armoured Kuruma, and I did all my, what I call them, service vehicles really, along with some of the others, just useful vehicles for missions, but vehicles that aren't really anything else. I did it up in one of the Porsche PTS greens. I can't remember which one. I'll put the hex on the screen if I remember. And I've done really all of my fleet of vehicles this way, with a sort of white wheel of this sort of style. It's just something different. It's something a bit GTA. There's no attempt for real life there. You'll see it really. I've done the same here. I mean, I don't really particularly want to use any of these. I have tried to in the past use them almost as a numbers padding game, I think, to do the real world one. But of course, there's the vehicle I use 99% of the time. This one I rarely use unless literally I've accidentally got too much to sell, and it's a pain in the bum because it's so slow. And I think I got this one at one point when it cost basically nothing, but I'm not sure it's ever really been used. So yes, just a matching fleet really, and using, of course, the crew emblem or the General E01 on all of them. Tucked away in my dark and dingy arcade, are a Night Shark done up as a service vehicle, and I'd forgotten, but I've actually done the sort of mint green neon on any service vehicle that will take it, and apparently even some tasteless green headlights on here. And also done up the very same way is the weaponized Tamper, which is of course great fun to drive, great fun on missions, and I'll often use this on a mission where in reality the armor crewman would have made things easier just because it's great fun, that massive gun on the top. In the bunker, of course, we have this truck. It's done up the same as last year. I was tempted with my service vehicle colours, but you know, this was a sort of copy of a real one. I love that livery. I think it was 100k to put the eagle on the side. It just looks nice. So I keep that as it is. And an anti-aircraft gun that, like, I don't really do PvP and stuff. Don't know why I've got it, but there we go. Okay, welcome to the Terabyte Garage. When you saw this in 2023, it was a Mercedes off-road sort of 6x6 adventure vehicle. Can't remember the exact names. I say I was trying to include every vehicle back then, but now I've put it more into my service vehicle colours. It doesn't seem to allow a crew emblem, so we've got some white police issue steelies on there, because I hate low-profile tyres on a truck. It looks ridiculous. And we've gone with that Porsche colour and black secondary. The Porsche colour, by the way, I've looked up now. It's GTAcolours.com Viper Green. And what actually happened is I thought that their signal green was more like the real Viper green, so that's what I used in the PTS videos. I then made up my own signal green. So this is actually a colour that's not on any other vehicles I have, just the service vehicles. I'm not sure about the bike, but the Acid Lab certainly made it into the 2023 Garage Tour as something it was tangentially based on, but now they're simply a very nice colour-coordinated pair of service vehicles. After the self-indulgent waffle and what I think is 54 vehicles, I'd like to actually look forward as well. What can we expect? Well, I'm never going to do a 2025 full garage tour again. I'll try and keep my vehicles themed because that's how I like to do it. And there will definitely be individual garages moving forward. I have one 10-car themed garage ready to go already, for example, and expect more of those as time goes on. And indeed, if something like the Porsche collection ends up changing substantially, then perhaps that will come up as an individual tour again. Into GTA 6, I was going to buy a console because I don't want to wait a year and a half for GTA 6. However, at the same time, I don't really want to spend sort of 500 quid on a console, learn to have to play on a controller, have to move all my footage across to the PC anyway, when I own a really good gaming PC. So I've heard recently that GTA 6 is possibly going to be pushed far more than they've ever done in the past to come out only a few months after the console. I don't see why it ever should have been so delayed when every other game comes out the same day for all platforms. So if they're going to bring that out in the sort of first quarter of 2026, well, I will wait. It'll be hard, but I will wait. So essentially, we're looking forward to more of the same, but perhaps with a gap in the winter of 25-26, depending on when they tell us we're actually going to get the PC version. My goodness, we're approaching 14 minutes on the timeline. Did you actually get this far? That's a silly question, isn't it? Because if you didn't hear the question. But if you did get this far, can you put the code word waffle somewhere in your comments so I know you're one of the very few who had the stamina to get through to the end? And of course, I really appreciate that. Anyway, you'll be pleased to know the footage is almost coming to an end, which means I have to shut up and disappear. I hope you enjoyed this run-through wrap-up, and I hope you'll stay with me throughout 2025 for more builds on real cars. Let's go out with a bang. Thank you so much for watching.